The infernal yelps of the coyote laughing through the bleak-stained night. The beating heat of starlit afternoon. Sandy wind cutting through the fabric of leathery clothes.
He'd been walking Sonoran Desert for 5 days. The horse died the second day. It was then that he missed the gentle howls of a tree-shadowed forest when clocks strike midnight. The glimmer of shallow light drifting across the water. The scent of ferns and damp mountain air. Anywhere but the grief-stricken, back-broken West. He's beginning to think he wouldn't see his way out of here at all. The Arizona country is wild, lethal, and cunning, and he is at our mercy. He reaches for the fourth canteen and attempts to take a sip. Of course, it was empty. He had one canteen left. He brought 5 of the damn things, and he thought he would see it through. To make matters worse, when he squints, he sees a black strip of the sky rolling in his direction. Thunderstorm. That was about the worst news you could get in this hellish landscape. If you stayed on the lower elevation, there would be a wall of sand forming in the wind, making the air thick and hard to breathe. A flash flood of sickly, thick mud would come barreling down the mountainside. And if you went up in elevation, lightning is drawn to you like a watcher is drawn to his prey. He turns around, heading back up the sandy slope. It was good to find shelter under rocks, because when the sand gets wet, it turns slick as oil. He'd been lucky enough to see a cluster of granite rocks just a little ways back. He hides under an oddly shaped rock, making an arch over his head. He's lucky, but not that lucky. He only went up about 18 feet in elevation. He should have gone at least 20.
He doesn't pray. He's not into that sort of thing. He decided he'd die here. It would be a satisfying end. He couldn't think of anything better for a life so hollow as his. After years of unbecoming violence, nothing caught up with him. Just nature. He would die alone. He wouldn't have it any other way.
He rests his head on his knees, cradling his body in his own arms, ready for the cold to seep in. He wishes for a woman to cradle him, but that was no longer an option. Not for him. He tries to fall asleep, but the thunder is loud, splitting his eardrums. He hears the first droplets of rain striking the top of the tan stone. They roll down the arch and go down his backside. He shivers in a ball, remembering that this too shall pass, just like everything else, in one way or another. The man peeks out to see the sky. There's no sky at all, just dark gray clouds engulfing the color of the bright landscape. He looks down the hill and he can't see them, but he hears the vile screeches of a pack of coyotes. Lightning strikes a tree in the distance, and its blue, jagged arm makes the tree sprout with flames and smoke. The rain quickly douses it. The flash flood rushes through the ground in the distance, a small wave of thick mud spreading like a disease. And he hears something from just behind. The rattlesnake slithers toward him from a crevice in the rock. The snake leaps out and he grabs it just below the neck. He grips it hard and stomps on his limp body. He pulls out the Schofield revolver and shoots the rattlesnake in the head. He sits back down, and in front of him, small pieces of the ground start to break apart. Something starts crawling out. He gets out the black revolver and he points it in front of him, ready for anything. Large toads come out of the wet earth, 7 inches in diameter. Gerard toads. They stay dormant for most of the year underground, but thunderstorms wake them up. It's only 3 at first, but in the next 5 minutes, they're everywhere. Hundreds of green, bloated bodies leaping, looking for spiders, other toads, and lizards to eat.
He tries to ignore them, but one decides to sprout up on the ground next to him. He tries to fling it away with his gun. Only when he touches the toad with its head facing up, A white liquid substance projects from behind its eyes and splatters across his face. The man closes his eyes just in time, but his mouth was not so lucky. He spits the venom out. He shoots the toad as it leaps away.
The thunderstorm lasts another 10 minutes. The clouds roll over and the sun is still as bright as ever. He, however, is beginning to feel odd. There's a taste of metal in his mouth and a numbness in his lips and fingertips. He hears a loud thud beating from his chest and he starts to shake. Though that isn't near the worst of it. The worst of it is what he saw.
Slowly, everything in front of him turned into a blurry dark mess, and he is taken. He's no longer here in the desert, though he could still feel her presence. He's in a place that tore him apart, where only little pieces survived.
The man was in the California country then, a small boomtown. That was where he always thrived. He'd been brought in by an outlaw by the name of Donald Shaman. Shaman and his gang had been terrorizing and killing prostitutes all over the western states. Even here, even now, the man sees Shaman's malevolent face against the black canvas of his mind, and it kills him. It's a wound so deep in all that is him that he fills the emptiness with the only thing he's good at: violence. Ever since Shaman, he never took a bounty in alive.
He relives it all, every detail. He starts shooting in front of him in non-essential motions, hoping to shoot the face off the frame. The bullets quickly run out of Schofield, and he sets it down. Then he tries opening his eyes and shutting them again.
He vociferates and bellows out the screams of a man that's in hell. Perhaps he was. Perhaps this is what hell felt like. He would have shot himself if the gun didn't run out of bullets. A stark and phlegmy voice rings and echoes from all around.
You didn't deserve her.
Then it slowly retreats into the background, getting quieter, slithering away into its nest. The ghost of his nightmare past leaves his sight, and the world goes black.
A fiery bright neon red light grows around a large, old, and wrinkled eye coming closer and closer. It is the desert conversing with his brain. It was her eye closing in and fading out, letting him know she's there, letting him know she's red. And maybe, just maybe, she was showing mercy just this once.
The man drifts into unconsciousness. His eyes open about 3 hours later, and his weak body twitches. He stands with frailness and pain along his torso. The mud is almost dry and cracking. The sun is still out, but it wouldn't be for much longer. He had about 2 hours to get as far as he could. After an hour and a half, he drinks the last drop of water in the last canteen. He drops 3 of them to lose some weight. He's not traveling fast. He was faintly limping across the land. He stops for a moment by a tall, spike-ridden cactus. He picks the saguaro fruit off the top with the knife. He rips it open and squeezes the fruit into his mouth. He continues down a valley and reaches a steep slope uphill. Just when he thinks about setting up camp for the night, he sees some small twinkling lights in the ever-expanding night. A small smile forms on the right side of his parched lips.
The path to town was almost non-existent, and just looking at it from a distance, you got the sense that this was a place not meant to be found. Not by anyone. And if it were anyone but him, they would have been led astray.
A sign, old and faded with corroded letters, reads, "Dry Copper, Town for the Dispossessed." He walks down the street like a chilling wind settling on an umbra of death. A fat, middle-aged man stands on the platform expanding from the saloon. When he sees Sam, the cigar falls out of his mouth and his jaws widen in disbelief. He turns around in terror, his eyes opening wider and wider like a rubber balloon about to pop. Sam spits in the dirt as a circle of wind forms a cloud of dust around him. With a gentle push of the saloon door, Sam is inside. There's around 15 of them. A sad and ragged folk. Around 10 copper miners, a preacher, a bartender, 2 men with guns standing by the bar. Sam stares at them until they all go quiet, the mere look in his eyes commanding their attention.
Get me a damn drink.
The miners look with no thoughts beyond the doubt of their own eyes of the man that came from nowhere. The preacher puts on his bent, circle-rimmed glasses just to get a better look.
Well, all right.
Sam walks forward a few feet and grabs the youngest man by the collar of the filthy shirt, and he puts the revolver to his head.
Since you didn't hear me the first time, I said get me a damn drink, unless you want a bullet in this young man's head.
The young man tries to escape the tight grasp Sam has on him, but it comes to no avail.
Move again, and you're dead.
Sam whispers in the young fellow's ear, then he cocks the gun. He looks down and he notices a missing thumb on the boy's hand. "Do what he says, goddammit!" the child yells with terrible fright, only 17 in age. The preacher scrabbles around for a moment in rapid breaths, until finally he has the courage to speak. "Don't kill that boy, mister," the preacher yells while waving his hands in the air. "Whoa, what do you want? Whiskey? That's all we got."
Water. I want water.
Sam feels his body starting to shut down and he almost starts to faint. Though still, even now, a bright flame of survival still burned within him. In the back of the bar, 2 men with Lancaster rifles walk slowly towards him with barrels up.
Somebody give me a canteen, or this man's decorating this fine saloon. And you 2 in the back. Take one more step and it's over.
Both of the men stop and look at each other for a moment, and the one on the left gives a thin smile under a thick mustache. The one on the right looks a little ill, like he might need to go throw up somewhere. Finally, the one near the front, only feet away from Sam, hands in a canteen. "Just don't drink all of it, mister," he says. "Nearest spring is 2 miles east." Sam pushes the young boy out of his arms and he begins to drink from the canteen. When Sam tilts his head up, he blacks out. He slams his cheekbone onto the hard saloon floor. The dirty miners look at him in bewilderment. That was more excitement, if you could call it that, than they had seen in the last 5 years.